Okay, I've got napkins, I have plate. Well, hello, shiny, crafty people. It's Tim Totten here, and welcome back to the channel. You know, I was just thinking about projects that I make for the channel, and one of the ones that I thought about was how do you like keep napkins in all of your in your picnic supplies without these all getting mangled and messed up. And the packages they give them in are huge, so you don't want to take all those on a picnic. And then I thought, well, gosh, there's got to be some way. I was making like a thing to carry a bunch of silverware in, and I thought, oh, I bet you I can make a caddy. And I created this one. Look how this is. It's almost like a Kleenex container. The problem is you really wouldn't want to try to reach this way to get napkins. They're not flipped and folded in that way. So instead I designed this one to be loaded up, carried this way in your bag with all your other stuff. And then when it's time to use it, you just flipped this corner back on itself. See what you do is you flip. It's easier to do if it's laying down. So you flip it back that way, and now your napkins are easily available for people to pull one out when they need one. How cool is that? All right, so why don't you join me down here at the cutting table, and I'll show you exactly what we need to do to get started. And please don't mind all the weird stuff behind me. We're at my laser studio. I'll explain that when you get down to the table. So for this project, I'm gonna need some napkins to measure from. Now, most of the napkins I found are 6 inches by 6 inches, so I'll use that as my measurement. And it just also happens that I have some 6-inch plates that I'm also going to use, or maybe they're more like, they're actually 7-inch plates, but that's okay because I'm gonna go ahead and make my square 8 inches, and then that should fit the plates as well. So we'll see that when we get going. I'm also gonna need something to cut with. I'll need some batting. I went ahead and cut an 8-inch square of batting, and I'm gonna use the rest of the batting as my ironing surface since I have my iron right here. And of course my sewing machine's over here. And then I'm gonna use this fabric. Now I bought this fabric, I'm gonna need 2 colors for what I wanna do. I bought this as a piece, a full piece that has 4 different colors on it, which I thought was really cool. And I'm gonna use these 2 because they contrast really well. So the first thing I'll do is just go ahead and iron this so that it's nice and ready to go. Now this is not something that I think will get washed a lot, so I'm really not worried about pre-washing the fabric because I'm not worried about shrinkage. That would be a problem. What we're gonna need is, it would only be a problem if this was something that was gonna get washed a lot. I'm gonna need 2 pieces of each fabric, so 2 8-inch squares for each of the 2 fabrics that I'm using. And I'm gonna be using, like I said, this polka dot and this sort of hatched fabric here. So I'm just giving it a little iron. There's a little bit of water in there to get the steam set, and I'll move that out of the way. And then what I'm gonna do is fold this in half along that seam that I just did. The back didn't get ironed real good, but I'm not really worried about it. So I'm gonna cut 2 8-inch squares out of each one of these. Now, however you have to do to get that, please do. I'm using, this is actually an 8.5-inch ruler. So I'm gonna first go past the 8 inches on all sides. So this will actually be about 8.5 by 8.5, but then I'm gonna trim it down. So I'm gonna do that. I did my square of batting underneath it somehow. Look at that. Big mistake, I went through the batting, so I'll cut another piece of that in just a minute. So I've gotten that cut, and then I'll cut on the other side as well. Now, I will spin this around, and now I can put my 8-inch mark and my 8-inch mark on the corners. If you have a square that does this already, you're in great shape, but I'm gonna use that. And this blade is not as sharp as I'd like it to be, so I have to go through a couple of times. It's a good reason to get newer blades to be ready. All right, that gives me an 8-inch square. I'm just gonna cut another piece of batting so that it's not cut, and then I'll be ready to go. All right, I cut a piece of batting that didn't have that cut out of it, and I have that ready to go. And now I have my 4 pieces of fabric. I've got the purple with the hatch marks, the purple with the polka dots, and I've got purple with the hatch marks, purple with the polka dots. I'm going to fold one of these into triangles like this by just folding right across from point to point. And those will be the pieces that fold over. And then this will be the base fabric. So it'll look like this when only one side is folded back. It's gonna look really cool doing it this way. You could even pick 4 different fabrics if you wanted. That would be completely up to you. So to stack this up, I'm gonna go ahead and put my batting down and put my piece of fabric on top of it. And then I will come and iron this right now. Now you'll notice that my batting is kind of a little bit off the size-wise. That's okay, I'll trim this off later. It's really mostly that the batting has stretched out. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it some heat to just press that. And then I'll go ahead and place this right sides together. See how I'm doing this? And then I will fold back to one corner. And I'm just gonna iron that straight across as well, just to set that seam in there, that fold, and really crease it. Then I will take the other one and do the same thing. Again, face right side down. And then of course I'm gonna go the other direction. So now I'll bring this one back the other way so that it lines up. And if I had some pins or clips with me right now, you may have noticed if you watch a lot of my videos that I'm not at my normal sewing studio, and that's because I am at my laser workshop where I laser engrave things. I'm gonna take the other pretty fabric and go face down to this, to my whole sandwich. So now I've got 5 fabrics lined up. Let me give this a quick press, and then I'm gonna show you the 5 layers that I have layered. I have at the bottom a batting layer. I've got then the wrong side to the batting. I have my pretty base fabric, that purple. I have 2 layers of the flip and fold fabric, and that's here, these 2 layers. And then on top, I have the final finished pretty layer. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my sewing machine and I'm gonna sew all the way around, leaving a gap so I can turn this completely inside out. So I'm gonna leave a gap here for that purpose. And just to make it clear, my gap will be in here. Enough for me to get that turned inside out. And I'm gonna use a little more than a 1/4 inch seam allowance on this when I go ahead and sew it. So let's go over to the sewing machine and I'll show you what we need to do. So we're here at the sewing machine and I've set my guide a little more than a 1/4 inch, and I'm gonna lift my sandwich in place. Now this is a lot of material. In fact, you could use a walking foot if you wanted, because this is almost like sewing a full quilt. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and sew and back stitch at this mark that I had made on the fabric. And then I'm gonna sew all the way off the end to make sure it collects all of those fabrics in there. I'm not even gonna try to pivot. I'm gonna really give this some good stitching, and then I'll come back and start all the way off the edge and just come on and stitch it. I'm gonna do that around all 4 sides. I'm gonna cut the corners anyway, and it's gonna be a lot of material to push in those corners, so I like having that extra back and forth stitch, because it'll really hold that corner in proper place. Only 1.5 sides left. Again, I really back stitched on that because I really want that to be nice and strong when I go to trim it. And I'm actually gonna cut right here and just trim off this little bit of this edge because I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be hard to cut that. It sort of stretched the batting out a little bit, and I'm okay with that. I just want to fix it. Same one on this one right here. You might not be able to see it very well on the video, but that's what I'm doing, trimming. All right, back for this little bit. Remember, I'm gonna stop at that mark. I go off of it and come in and stop right there. And backstitch, because when I turn this thing inside out, it's gonna have a tendency to really stretch those threads, and I don't want to have that problem. Let's go back to the table and I'll show you. So here at my laser studio, I don't have the best equipment. I just got some old scissors here, but I'm going to use them anyway. What this is going to let me do is just do a little trimming. I've got a couple threads to trim, and then I'm going to come to these corners and I'm going to cut quite a bit out. I'm not going to just go straight across like some people would just go straight across like that. I'm actually going to go a different angle on each of the sides. So that way, and then I'm gonna come put the same angle in the other side. Now the reason for that is you see how that angle is now not just a straight 45, it's actually, because if I just came in and went straight across, I'll show you this. And went straight across, now all this material has to fit into the corner when it turns, and it can overlap itself and make a funky corner. Here, we're not going to get any overlap whatsoever. Those are not going to get close to each other. So I'm going to do all of those in that way. Come at an angle from that side, then come back with the angle. And I'm not cutting through that point where I'm still leaving the point of the stitches, and that's why I've got all of these extra stitches where I really back stitched it really well. Now, you don't have to cut quite this close if you don't want. You can get a little further away. I'm confident in my stitching, but if you're not, don't worry. All right. Your next step is now to separate just the top fabric right here. You want to leave the batting with the bottom fabric, and you don't really want to have to turn all of these folded pieces. So you just want to turn this top one, and then you'll just shove everything out. Okay? So I'm just turning the whole thing inside out. Now, if I was really concerned about making this look the most beautiful way, I would make sure that I had matching purple thread for when I come back and top stitch this, but I'm not gonna do that. So just realize that you could do that if you really wanted. I'm using my finger and just pushing out these corners. You can use a turning device if you want. I tell you not to use your scissors, but these are a very blunt-ended scissor, so you could put that in there and help push it out. Just be very careful. Don't get over-exaggerated with it. And also don't punch your batting too hard, because the batting is in there. Now these are real easy to figure out where it is, because obviously it's right where these 2 points come together, right? So I'm going to push those out. They do make point turners. I have them at my workshop. I'm just not at my workshop today. And the last one is this corner. You also want to make sure you don't open the scissors, so you want to hold them in a way. This is only if you have scissors that are not pointy on the end. If they are, you need to get a knitting needle, a very thick knitting needle, or a chopstick works really great for that. So now I've got all of those turned, right? And I'm gonna come along, and you could do two things here. You could just whip stitch this closed if you wanted, or you come back, flatten it all out, and just do a top stitch all around this entire thing, which is what I'm gonna do at the sewing machine. So here we go. I'm gonna go to that corner that has the opening, that side that has the opening, fold it nice and flat. I'll start at a corner. I'm also wanting to do a little longer stitch length so it doesn't, and then I'm just gonna go right at the edge, right up to the edge. You might see here it's bare, it's not even over to my full guide size that I had, because I wanna make sure it grabs that fabric. So actually, I know I said I'd come back and show you. This is all the amount of thread that I just picked out of 3 sides of this, because I realized I wasn't supposed to stitch all the way around. What I need to do is stitch the hole that is open and on one other side. That's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that at the sewing machine because I need to leave, in fact, I need to take this one out. I only need to do it on one of these flaps. Just stitch down on one of them to close the opening. Now you could just come back and whip stitch this opening closed in a hidden stitch if you wanted to, but I'm gonna come back and do just this side, and it'll leave the other side free to flip back and forth to either hold one bit of the materials or on both sides. So I'm gonna finish taking this out and then I'll go to the sewing machine. So meet me there. So here at the machine, I'm gonna make sure that I do the side that has the opening that needs to be closed, and then here, here, and then down just this other side. So I'll come to the corner where that's gonna start. Just backstitch a little. And I'm going right along the edge, just like I did last time, but this time I'm only gonna do two sides. And again, I'm gonna stop in here at this corner where this flips over. All right, let's go back to the table. I'll show you what I've done. All right, so I have one piece that has been stitched and the other one is left free floating. And that's gonna allow this one to flip over like this. You could easily turn it directly inside out to either side. So if I take my napkins that I want to carry on my picnic and I tuck them in underneath, now they're nicely contained in there. And if I want to travel, I can literally just flip it back closed and it would hold my napkins in place. Now you really can't get the napkins out of here, so when it's time to use them, so they're not going to blow around at your picnic. When it's time to use them, you flip it inside out and there you have it. The other thing you could do is also choose to use this to hold both napkins and plates. So you could have it like that. So once again, you could set it to use to hold both items if you wanted to, or really what I designed it to do was to make it really easy to carry napkins with you. So you put the napkins in there, you load them up, get them in place where you want them to be. You fold it this way so that it transports easily to your, flatten it out, it's easier to do on a table. You're sliding down, hold on. There you go. Again, I'm not in my normal space, so it's bouncing around. So you'd flatten it out and there is your package. And so now you have that, you throw it in all your stuff. Your napkins don't get flipped around unless you're carrying a full bag of napkins. This helps them stay. And when it's time to use them and everyone wants to get them out, you literally just fold that one corner back. And now you've got your napkins ready for people to pull out when they need one. So they're still held. All right, that is this fun napkin caddy that you can use on a lovely summer picnic, someplace you're going, take with you. And I've got 10 or 15 napkins in here. You could make this a little bigger. I made 8-inch square. You could start with a 9 or 10-inch square and you could get a lot more napkins because it would have more bulk to go around. But either way, I hope you try this out with your favorite fabrics. And until next time, my friends, stay crafty. Bye for now. All right, well, I gotta just figure out if it's gonna be cool enough on a day here in Florida that I can go on a picnic. Well, at least I have napkins if I get sweaty.